Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Or coming to you with some Company of Heroes 2 action. This one was a game that got sent in to me by one of these two players, and we'll definitely see which one it is here. It's going to be on Arnhem Checkpoint, 1v1 between Dizilon, or Dizilon, and I'm sorry if I messed that one up, and he's playing the Wehrmacht over here. You can see already he's gone for that elite troops doctrine, so expect to see those stun grenades, like Wehr 43s, and then interrogation, which is also kind of nice. Meanwhile, though, up in the northern side, his opponent, who's just kind of chilling still, looks like for a little bit of time. Well, he's got a little bit of his personal time going on here. It's For Masturbation, and he's playing as the Soviets. He's going to be bringing on in one of three choices here: Shock Rifle or Lend-Lease. Pray to God that's not going to be Lend-Lease. Or Soviet Shock Army, so that'd be kind of fun. We are going to see Special Rifle Command coming up from him already, so Penal's, I think, yeah, probably going to be a Penal opening, I would think. But Dizilon over here, or Dizilon, or, I'm sorry, let's call him D for a second. But D over here is going to go and pick himself up a couple of territories. He's going to have a nice early advantage here. Question is whether or not he's going to push to take his opponent's fuel or not. We'll see how that goes. And a part of me freaking out there for half a second. Actually, I was streaming the other day, and if you haven't checked the stream out just yet, go for it. We are in the infancy of the entire process, but having a lot of fun with it already. Hope you guys are stop by pretty darn soon to check it out. But the other day I was streaming, and I went through about an hour's worth of footage, and I was like, wait a second, there is no sound here. What's going on? Turns out I plugged my headset in after I opened up my streaming program, and it was this whole mess, man. It was ugly. It was ugly. But Masturbation, he doesn't want to get up close and personal. No, sir. He wants to go and call in a Soviet sniper team. And frankly, that's actually a pretty good decision on this map. When you think about it, you know that the German's going to go and hunker down with some machine guns around the center square. So at least you have the opportunity now to kind of take shots from afar and do some really, really good damage. Gonna use it finally to take on some of his resources here, but D over here is going to be able... Masturbation into D. But D over here is going to be able to pick up as much territory pretty much as he wants and get a very, very early army as well as resource advantage. You can see already massive, massive advantages going on here. This is, of course, as you can see, since it is a submitted replay, it should have gone up Saturday, but instead, of course, I found myself a little bit busy in the last couple of days. Work's been very, very not fun. So this is going to go on up, I believe, Sunday. So we subscriber Sunday for a second or two, or submitted Sunday. I should really change the playlist on that one. Penals are out on the map, and that machine gun has now been found. So expect to see the bleed begin. Or no, he's not going to do it. Instead, he's going to keep his scout snipers out in the open. That's a very strange decision, especially considering how fragile they are.
Penal troops are standing by.
This is very strange. But considering how quickly also the Grenadiers are getting pummeled, I guess at the end of the day, it's not too bad. And indeed, they go back away and are running for home. So surprisingly, considering the fact that the Soviets were so late in getting all their troops out, to see the Germans pull back first is very, very shocking for me. And in the meantime, I'm going to see it happen again. D's going to find his guys get bum-rushed by a couple of squads of convicts, and they're going to get forced back. But MP40 Pioneers are coming on in, and I'm wondering, will we see a flamethrower out of this? A Flammenwerfer might be a good idea. You know, over to the western side, ooh, these machine gun crews been pinged out a couple of times. 4 kills already on that sniper team. Now, unfortunately, again, D was doing a very good, interesting decision, plopping down his troops and just pelting the penalties that went by, but ended up not being a great long-term decision. What's more, this machine gun's actually out in the middle of this town, too, and since it is Arnhem Checkpoint, again, if this becomes a Soviet weapons team, this could be a very, very hard opening for the Germans. Now, Battle Phase 1 coming on in for Die, and up to the north, well, not really seeing any kind of, there we go, we see another penal squad. So Soviets are going to outnumber the Germans. They're starting to push through and take a lot of these territories. But as long as they don't take this one right here, the Germans are going to be just fine, continuing to have at least a loose control on their fuel. Of course, if the penals take this position here, as they are bound to do, it's going to get ugly. Grenadiers, in the meantime, they're going to find themselves Wehr 43s and pushing towards the church. No, the church is going to fall into the Soviet hands, which is kind of funny considering not that many non-atheists in the area. Stun grenade goes on in, does a good job just doing a little bit of damage as well as stunning them up. But at the end of the day, the Germans are really not getting as much damage as they might have hoped. Scout Sniper Team in the meantime as well. 7 kills on these guys already, so we've been here less than 5 minutes of gameplay. In fact, we didn't even cut the first like 40 or 45 seconds of this game from the Soviets, and they still have 7 kills. They've been on it for less than 4 minutes. Field Hospital coming on out, so the infirmary is definitely there. And Germans are trying to go, and at least they're going to take the Soviet fuel point, but the Soviets are going to return the favor, and indeed will be able to actually get something out of it, because the Germans don't have this one up in their favor. But a Leichte Mechanized Company has been called on in, which means, of course, you see a 222, which means if these penals aren't particularly attentive, we will see a very, very dead Scout Sniper Team. Thinking about it too, though, we have the MG42. So the MG42 comes on up. He could plop down the incendiary AP rounds, and that will do more than enough damage. But that is still an evolving concern. And the Germans are going to have themselves have a gunfight out of cover. So, Die, if you're watching this big guy, you got to go and make sure you have, well, take cover, man. Otherwise, it's going to be game over. Game over indeed. And they're going to fall on down right now. Going to back away. Falling down a couple of numbers here. 222 diving on in. He's going to find that Scout Sniper Team. He could chase them back to the home base, and that would be enough to kill them. He's going to have more than enough time. Going to follow this out. Oh my god, still, one model is still not been killed. There we go, finally that model's going down, and the question is, can this last model get picked on off? And he's doing the right call. This is the right call. Even if you trade the 222, we should be able to take him out. One more blast. There we go. So just before he gets to safety, he gets taken on out. Now my question is, will we see a satchel charge? And the answer to that is going to be... duh. No, but the 222 scoots along the road, and that's going to put him just far enough outside the throw arc, 30 radius here. Except now he's going to go down. Here we go. Kaboom. Gonna try to take out the last couple of models? No, he's going to go down, though. Boom. Destroyed engine. He goes down. So he traded the 222 for the Scout Sniper Team. I would call that a pretty decent trade. Not perfect, mind you, but still, taking out the Scout Snipers and trading just a couple of bits of fuel, again, really not all that much. Here we are. 30. Not that bad. Now it would be better for him to actually take some of these fuel points back. Even more so to take this position right here. But, the enemy is taking what we have secured. Die is letting M kind of run the tempo of this game for the moment. But yes. So guys, actually in the meantime, another quick plug. Over on the Twitch channel, I admit you guys can see my face for the first time. Well, in the next couple of streams here. And I admit, actually, I'm getting a second monitor, so I'm looking forward to really being able to interact with you guys pretty well. So slide on over, hit me up, and, you know, even maybe play a game or two with me. Kind of a good idea. What's more, end of the month, we'll see this little combat going on now. End of the month, we are going to see XCOM 2 come out with War of the Chosen, which frankly is looking to be kind of fun. Maybe not perfect for the game, but kind of darn fun. So we're definitely going to be enjoying some of that. So you want to come back at the end of the month, if you're not, you know, in this already. And you know what, actually enough actions happening here, we should really get back into it. So Grenadiers getting pounded by these penal troops. Again, because of that first star veterancy, they are going to get that to the last man, which is just quite good. But the Grenadiers are going to finally go and cut off the Soviets, at least for the moment, from their resource positions. And will pretty much hobble the Soviet war machine. Well, for the time being. And that is correct. We are now seeing Soviet shock armies of the 120mm mortars, the PPSHs, and the shock troops. Those guys are going to be devastating if the, excuse me, what's the term I'm looking for here? Wow. I have a bit of a burp in the first place, as well as trying to get this out of my mind. So if the Germans are incautious, there's going to be indirect fire in the first place, which is going to start pounding down, raining all sorts of hell. Then on top of it, too, with the penals keeping a nice long-distance gunfire, well, if the Germans don't move away, we will see those shock troops coming on in, and those guys are very, very good. Stormtroopers are going to be called on in, though. But I've never liked the fact that they only really have light arms. And demo charge coming in, satchel charge rather. But the Germans are aware of it, they don't get caught out. My question is, will we see STGs, will we see Gewehrs, will we see Panzerschrecks? My guess, we'll probably see STGs once Die's got the munitions for it. But it's not happening yet. Grenadiers, in the meantime, they do take the position back and increase the German supply position, at least for a couple of moments here, but the mortar does push them on back. And a big grenade coming on out, and these penal troops are not ready for it. They get blown to shreds. Last model alive. Will he get picked on off? He's getting flanked. There he goes. So a loss over there in favor of the Germans, but the Germans will pay for it with some nifty suppression here, and paying for a couple of models as well. Not going to be SDGs for a while then, but at least for the moment, the Stormtroopers are kind of stopping the bleeding. Of course, they are bleeding out on the ground too, so dropping 2 models in the span of just a couple of seconds. These Grenadiers have to watch out because these Mach 3 flamethrower is just going to roast and toast them to pieces, and that's not going to be pretty. But they have to hold on strong to reconnect the German supply position. Germans are going to come back in as well and bring in their own mortar. So a teeny bit more mobile, but at the same time not really going to be that far ahead of the Soviets on it. Soviets, in the meantime, calling in their Tank Heavy Battalion Command. We're not going to see an Su-76 or a T-70 for the moment, and I think he knows that his opponent, M, knows that D has a PaK-40 here. So, from the Soviet side of things, though, if it were me, I'd just be trying to rush up as quick as possible. Honestly, I would throw this down, too, just for fun. But I'd be rushing up to the next tech level as quick as possible. I wouldn't go even for the Tank Heavy Battalion Command. At least not too much. I'd throw it down, maybe, but no vehicles. Wait for that late game. But the German mortar team is getting into action now, throwing exactly what it needs to do, which is start pounding this machine gun position, hopefully getting rid of it at some point. What's shocking me, okay, so we're waiting to see the medics coming on out, but the Germans can't quite afford it because the munitions just keep getting stolen from them constantly. If they could bring this back under control, it'd be great. But for the moment, the Germans are able to push back these penals and might be able to turn this into a legitimate attack. However, it seems they're going to pay for their lives to do it. This Pioneer Squad dropping 2 models at least, right outside this door. Yikes. And maybe another one getting slaughtered in a bouillabaisse of meat and bone? No, somebody else. But alright. So, mortar team's going to have to, machine gun team's going to have to book it out of here soon. I'm surprised they haven't already. Excuse me if you guys hear that. Had to quench my thirst. And the 120mm mortar's firing the wrong direction, so he's firing over here to the west instead. So, Germans are going to be able to push back this machine gun team.
We are losing territory.
And over here, we might even see that the combat engineers go down. It's a fairly low army cap for both sides here. It's both still under 50.
The enemy has cut off a sector.
And now the Germans are trying to come under fire from this mortar team.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Shockingly enough, though, this machine gun team continues to stay in here, and I guess it might be worthwhile. I mean, if you're going to lose the team, you might as well not lose it back to your opponent. Meanwhile, mortar firing off to the west. Is he going for that northern position? Definitely a possibility. And these pioneers would just refuse. They refuse to say die. They come back in fully armed, and now that machine gun team really should get picked off here. But no, the MP40 is not enough to take them on out. But this will finally allow the Germans to take a position here, as well as the center part of the town. And we've not been focused now. It's been almost 14 minutes into this game, but ticket-wise, despite the fact the Germans have had pathetic resource situation, they are up almost 200 tickets. That is not a pretty sight. And we're probably going to see, I would say, a satchel charge be a great idea here. Yep. Grenadiers are not going to see it in time, I don't think. No, they're going to see it, but they're going to get almost blown to pieces. No, they're not. They're going to back away. Okay, this is okay. Not too bad, I suppose. They will pick up their own fuel point. They'll also take the expansion supply. And for some reason, these penal troops are chasing them as opposed to taking back that fuel, which they kind of desperately need at this point. Mechanized Armor Company is getting built. And Masturbation over here is apparently playing with himself and not reinforcing his troops. So we have a couple of machine gun guys that really should come back onto the field. Maybe I'll die. Has he gone to battle phase 2? Nope. So die instead. I think he's just going to wait for that late game Tiger Race. Interesting call. I mean, it doesn't cost him anything for fuel. And Big Boom goes on out, but completely misses. So the Germans back away. They're going to lose both fuels, I think, pretty quickly. But they'll hold on to it just long enough to get some nice, juicy amounts of black gold from it. Now, here's a question. Where's this guy aiming?
Enemy force forces capturing supply sector.
Aiming down to the southwest, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. And Germans did have a trip cap for a second there, but gonna go fall back at least a 2-1 in favor still of the Germans, but overall, Masturbation is not ready to climax on his gameplay just yet. Shock troops being called on in, and this is going to be great to get in and amongst the German lines. Grenadiers, not particularly great, even with the Wehr 43s. That's long-range firepower. That's not short, up-close and personal. All up-close and personal they really have just right here. And I didn't see the Stormtroopers go down, so forgive me, guys. I think that was part of that dead squad that we saw over here.
T-34 ready for combat.
And there's a T-34-76, so not a good opportunity, or not a good time, I'd say, for the Germans. Germans, meantime, they'll use the Stormtroopers to spawn from the ambient buildings. Great opportunity. Going to the fuel point, going to take that back. And these penal troops, despite the fact that these guys should be really...
Shock troops can now be used to crush the enemy.
Should be rather devastating at the long range. They're just getting shot to pieces consistently. But here come the shock troops. Body armor, as well as those PPSHs, which means those Grenadiers are going to get shredded. And there they go. So they take this strategic point for the moment, cutting off the Soviet supply position as if they had anything further to the southwest. But giving it right back, just like that. Masturbation at half the number of tickets he needs to survive here, and well, half the number of tickets he should have, bleeding out quite a bit. Meanwhile, this T-34-76, well, he should be able to reverse the momentum of this game, at least for the moment. And again, I'm wondering, has he gone for... No. I hate that it does this. He's still not gone for Battle Phase 2, so he refuses to give in. He's just holding strong in this one. Decaps the fuel at least away from the Soviets, takes back his own expansion fuel, as well as this position here. And I'm wondering, was this all lost because the Soviets were not able to take? They didn't play for that first 30 or 40 seconds. Did the game fall apart just because of that? I'm not sure if I really want to say that per se, but it is a possibility. German stovepipe though is still in action. He's going to start throwing down rounds at this area here. So it's a GRW34. I want to say it's another like 80 mil mortar on that one. Yeah, 80.
We are losing territory.
But the Germans have lost their strategic point, which means their own supply situation just dropped dramatically. And not seeing a whole lot of upgrades coming on out, mostly because he has no munitions, and now has no munitions to be developed from it. He still can't take this position here, which makes me kind of wonder why he's not being more aggressive and pushing back this Rock 3. And over here to the north, we'll find these Grenadiers. We'll be throwing rounds off against this T-34, and naturally we'll back off soon afterwards. I'd almost like to see more Grenadiers being spawned here, though. Coming right here, perhaps, jump on out, throw a grenade in there, blow them to pieces, something like that, you know? Not going to happen for the moment, though. In the meantime, Soviets are taking this strategic point over here to the eastern side. And we'll cap it on out, so while Masturbation doesn't seem too concerned with having any sort of VP presence, he's doing very well. And at least keeping his opponent more or less kind of starved of resource generation.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
120mm mortar setting up, firing to the western side, and these Grenadiers, if they're not retreating soon, they're going to get pwned. But for the most part, both sides have been fairly good about retreating when necessary. More penal troops being spawned out here, so good, again, good usage of these ambient buildings, and I think that was a great call to go for elite troops, because the infiltration is really quite nice. German supply situation stabilizes moderately. And wow. One shot takes out 3 models. I hate that. But the T-34. I hate that about most Allied tanks. And there goes the Stormtrooper squad. What's more, though, this is going to go boom, and Germans might even find themselves getting taken on out. If they're not taken out, pretty darn close. There we go, never mind, taken on out. There go the Stormtroopers. That's a big loss there.
Combat engineers are standing by.
But in the meantime, well, Germans are going up to Battle Phase 2. They have their support armor corps getting it finished on up in just a couple of seconds here. Pack 40 is throwing more than enough rounds into this T-34-76. That T-34-76 isn't moving at all. Move the tank. Nope, he says hold the door, and gets shredded because of it. That was just dumb. That was just dumb. I think he was too busy kind of microing back over here, perhaps, or even, no, not making more troops up here, because these guys are still quite wounded. And a P4 being called on in for the Germans, and that's a pretty decent call. Keep in mind, of course, this is the, what, the Panzer G, I always want to say. I always get them backwards. Well, we'll see in a second. Panzer G or Panzer J. I'm pretty sure it's a Panzer G. So, an infantry tank in the first place, not a bad idea overall. Especially when you've just known that you've just taken out your opponent's major tank presence. Germans are still in negative cover here, so not going to win no matter what it is. Now, they could throw out a grenade. And that can mean a very big difference to this battle, because as of right now, they're out in the open. They've taken way, way more losses than they should have. Hey, but a flamethrower is now out. The question is, will they pick it up? And the answer is yes. They shall. Now he's got to retreat, though. He's not retreating. This is a problem. This is a big problem. And there they go finally. Okay, so they're backing on away with that flamethrower. And they drop it right down the... Oh, jeez. Now this could be bad. This could be oh, jeez. Penal troops with flamethrowers yet again. Historically, something we'll never see ever again. P4, it is in fact the... It's not going to tell me. It is in fact just a lovely, lovely infantry opportunity here. Throwing rounds into this house. And, well, machine guns staying game. He says he's willing to continue going for it. Meanwhile, the P4 comes in and around onto this T-34-76, fearlessly engaging him. The 76 not really paying attention here either. Playing ring around the rosy, it looks like, and I think he's leading him right back into his own troops to get a satchel charge on off, and there is a satchel charge coming on out, gonna break him. But remember, if you break it, you buy it. So there goes the damaged engine, and looks like a damaged engine over here on top of this guy as well. Yes, engine damage, but P4 is going to just maybe limp away. Nope, out of control. Never mind. There he goes. So, armored play, not the forte of either side here. I'm surprised this combat engineer, there he goes down. So there's another donated one over to the Germans. Let's see if they can hold on to this one. And 22 minutes in, even though the Germans have lost a couple of tickets here and there, it's 478 to 184, and it's been pretty much die the entire game. Or Dizzy. Let's call him Dizzy. Dizilon.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
But Masturbation, not willing to give in. He's going to go make some more combat engineers, as well as another T-34-76. Good call, I would say, more or less. But I would still say, this 152 howitzer, that's what's kind of fun, boys. You really should consider it. Grenade going on out. Is this... Oh, no, it's not. I thought for half a second it would be a stun grenade, and it is, but it comes out a little bit too late. But these shock troops in negative cover, and they go on down. So that was kind of silly. And now this penal squad getting blown to pieces by fantastic mortar fire, and that's 2 donated squads over to the Germans. So how many was that? That was 8 kills? That was a pretty quick setup of kills, I would think. Now let's talk veterancy, though. Because the Germans have not a particularly vetted up group. They have a couple squads at full vet, and mortar teams at 2, which is not bad at all. But the Soviets, well, the Soviets are struggling, man. They have... The Germans never picked it up. Oh god, I don't think he knew it. I think he was sitting right here, is hiding behind that bush. The bush, right? That was yonder. So no, Soviets though, they have a mere 5 stars of veterancy between the currently alive 6 units. It's not a sterling idea. He donated one of his fully vetted up squads of penal troops, which was a giant mistake, of course, and losing a couple of squads here and there, just unfortunately, rather erroneously. Pack 40 is going to start limping back out. He's so stinking slow, and I feel bad for those guys every single time I see them. And I think, yep, I think is just going to play for that late game with the Tiger Ace, which is going to be great if he can keep it alive. But that's always the $64,000 question. Now, Stormtroopers, 1 Panzer Shrek could be kind of nice. He has the munitions to do it now, and he knows his opponent's going for some crazy amounts of armored play, but doesn't look like he's going to commit. And there is that 152 facing back towards Mother Russia, because apparently before you can fire any gun like this, you have to consecrate it in the name of Father Stalin. Sorry about that little bit of switch over here. Unfortunately, I live with a dog right now, and the dog is very, very young yet. He's about a year old, and he just runs everywhere. But let's get back to this. So we have ourselves a big problem for the Germans. Dizzy's gonna have to put up with this, with the base dive. Two T-34-76s going on in, and this Pack 40, the only bit of defense he really has. There's gonna be a Stuhl coming on in, but he's actually getting bled like crazy. The question is, rear armor hits? No, not quite. He takes the angle just in time, right before he takes that hit. But this is going to be a lot worse for him. So he's going very, very slowly, and it looks like we're going to see the Grenadiers perhaps get a Faust? No. No, we're not. Instead, we're going to see IL-2s coming on in, though, and that is going to be bad. Be very, very bad. So that mortar team getting pwned by the IL-2s. That's a little bit unfortunate there. And this Pack 40 is going to get taken on out as well. So a lot of opportunities over here for the Russians to really recrew and take stuff back for themselves. Not going to happen, though. And indeed, they're going to find themselves getting pinned. So the stolen flamethrower, isn't that one of these squads over here? No, it's not. It's just going to be, instead, just automatic weapons fire, just really kind of killing them. But he's keeping them in place because it does allow him to strafe all of this other German equipment. And as well, we're actually going to see that howitzer strike coming on in. Now, keep in mind, guys, there is a fair bit of scatter on this, but this means that the Germans are not safe even in their own base.
Forces are attempting to capture our territory.
And were the Soviets actually would have pounded this area here instead. But we're not seeing that happen. Instead, we're going to see now a Stuhl coming in, a Stuhl G coming on in. He might be able to ambush these Su-76s, excuse me, T-34-76s, but instead he's going to go and just try to return the favor, which is not the way to go about this. Now, he could have been something. He could have been a contender. But no, we're going to see a very, very gutsy move instead. And actually, for some reason, we're going to see the wounded T-34 coming out first. And there goes one T-34. That was just kind of foolish. The other one's going to charge on forwards, and they're going to trade fire. My guess is we'll probably see a dead Stug. But the question is, will he sacrifice? There's a main gun destroyed. Never mind. I take that all back. Now, it should be a dead Stug anyway, so satchel charge? No, but a new T-34-76 coming on in, which means, yep, this Stug is going to go down. So not the best play going on right now there, folks, but at the same time, kind of fun for me to watch. There he goes. He is broken and blowing up. Meanwhile, this machine gun crew over here just continues to be such an issue for the Germans. They have down to 5 squads yet again. They have a lot of equipment out here in the open. They're just not picking it up. And while they don't hold the center VP anymore, at least they still do have a massive lead, frankly, in tickets. So is, nope, Dizzy's going to go and reinforce those squads before he goes for that Tiger Ace, and that's a good call right there. Because Tiger Ace, it is a brilliant, brilliant weapon, but if it's by itself, you know, I mean, there are penal troops here, which means there are satchel charges, there are rams possible, there's so much opportunity to be anti-tank. This would not be a good idea to aggress without thinking. Nope, never mind, he's going to go back and go for that Tiger Ace instead. Says, damn the losses, damn the infantry, I am just going to go and depend on the brilliance of the Tiger Ace. So, 3, 2, 1. Jeez, they're trying to blow apart the infantry company, trying to blow apart the support armor corps, but the Tiger Ace is here, and the Tiger Ace is coming on in, and I believe this is now when all the German stuff starts to get reinforced again. I'm super, super worried about this squad of Grenadiers. But here comes the Tiger Ace, and you can always tell how well the Tiger Ace is going to do from the first shell that he puts on out. And he chases it away. He chases away that machine gun, but whoop-de-doo, right? There we go. He finally gets 3 kills. There we go. So now the Soviets have something to worry about. And frankly, if this Tiger Ace can see these guys before they put in their TM-35 mine, well, for one, it's going to go very well for him. And 2, actually very luckily for them, they didn't finish putting out the mine first, and did not give them the opportunity to blow them to smithereens. So Tiger Ace, after a very, very dismal first shell, well, he's doing quite fine now there, folks. I always feel like we were missing something here, so no. Heavy Panzer Corps wasn't built, I don't think. However, we are missing that medic bunker, aren't we? Yep, medic bunker is gone, which means the German stuff is very, very wounded. Another T-34-76 being called on in. My question is, will we see the Tiger A's charge and push? He's not being aggressive about it just yet. Alright. So another T-34-76 coming on in means the Germans have to watch out. Yikes. And these guys need to start moving. There we go. Finally start moving again. This stuff also needs to get picked back up too. Would definitely boost the German army as well as increasing their battlefield presence quite a bit. Now T-34-76 is in the area, and while he's got, there we go, he's got prioritized vehicles on, so nice quick change over there. And the 152 is still out and about. And this, okay, this Tiga is not scared of anything. He's engaging everything on his own. And with one T-34-76 showing his heels, the other one's going to charge to try to cover the retreat, and I don't think it's going to go very well. In fact, yep, there goes the new one. He's gone. And a little bit of a stutter step. We're going to see the other one get charged here, so with that happening, if the Germans take out this other T-34-76, well, first of all, IL-2s could have been coming on and strafing him. It's only the 23mm cannons, but Tiga's not particularly well armed up top, or armored, rather, up top. We are armor hit, and instead of just rushing away, this Russian is really just kind of well on his way towards death. One more round. There we go. And now this thing has really no competition for quite a bit of time. And you get some crush. How about that? Hey, look! German stuff can get crushed. It can crush too. That's so weird. German mortar team trying to come over here to pick up this fuel point, realizing there's finally the stormtroopers there. So that'll be a very, very bad opportunity for them to try to go forwards. And the Germans, with just a bare 6 squads and only really 1 squad of engineers kind of to keep the Tiger healthy, are doing rather well. Tiger Ace ready to push back against these penal troops. The penal troops getting up to 3 stars of veterancy. They're the most experienced guys left on the on the Russian roster. But now, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is about done. The Germans are losing their tech structures very soon. Bunker over here just to the outside, going to keep his guys fairly healthy. And now this is when he should attack this howitzer, and does so. So this howitzer has 5 kills, and I doubt he's going to get many more than that. As much fun as it is for me, another thing you have to always realize is that if you're going to go and build these kind of point-and-click ability, weapons, you have to make sure you have some sort of defense for them. Whether that's a Zis gun or 2, which is definitely an opportunity here. Or could have been an opportunity here. Never mind. Actually, I realized he never put the support in the Compania. But hey, he could have always upgraded the PTRSs. And did not. In the meantime, though, Germans will find themselves getting strafed by IL-2s over here to the eastern side. And I'm kind of curious why he used the ability there. There goes machine guns. The machine gun that was captured for so long beforehand is now dead yet again. And the Germans, though they are bleeding tickets at the moment, and love, they are still up 358 to 151, up 200 tickets, while this Tiger just kind of prowls around the map, really looking for targets of opportunity. Now, the lucky thing for the Soviets is that since their army is so small, they don't have many opportunistic targets to get hit again. So that's kind of a, glass half full kind of moment. Meanwhile, these stormtroopers continue to hold strong. This could have been a great opportunity for them to pick up a STGs here, but they're not going to do it. Instead, they're going to have CQB action. Going to drop a couple models on retreat. No. Really thought it was going to happen. Nope, guess not. All right, and there he goes. He's off like a shot. Meanwhile, a Panzer IV being called on in for the Germans, and this middle VP going back to Dizzy. But all right. Finally, is this gun coming on out, which means finally a support weapon company has been called on in. Bit of a late decision there. Well, the Soviets are putting down some more defenses here, so mine to maybe ensnare that tank, and then in a big boom to ensnare any infantry that are coming on in as well. Could not say for sure. What I can say for sure is that these grenadiers right here will push back these combat engineers. And these grenadiers up here, well, they have more than enough munitions to toss down a couple of big booms. The question is whether or not they're going to do so. And yep, here comes a stun grenade. They take out a combat engineer squad very, very quickly, frankly. They pull back, having done some very, very good damage. So this Tiger Ace came onto the field, you know, what, 4 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago? 28 kills. 3 of them are vehicles. I mean, one of those was the howitzer carriage, which I can find. There we go, howitzer carriage. At this moment, he's got nothing else to worry about. This is this gun here, big deal, but now there's also a P4, so as this gun pings rounds off the Tiger, P4 comes on in and takes shots of opportunity. I'd not be surprised to see a surrender coming out soon, because the Soviets have nothing to kind of compare with this. Another just gun being made, and the first one getting taken on out pretty darn soon. 1 or 2 more rounds will be enough. 33, 34 kills technically. Mortar team falling on back, and what happened before to the Germans is now happening to the Soviets. This is kind of come in, take what they want, you know, leave.
Our territory is hot. Our headquarters is taking enemy fire.
And one thing I'm surprised he's not doing is I'm surprised he's not taking down the support with the Compania. He is focusing his stun on infantry, which I can understand. This 120mm mortar is just going to be bleeding manpower from Masturbation pretty darn quickly. An interesting call from this is that both guys are just going to be more concerned about the Mechanized Armor Compania, and I guess that makes sense. I'm just going to watch this for a couple more seconds. The Soviets will go and find themselves getting shot to pieces in the center part of the map, as while these guys are excellent up close, from a distance, PPSs aren't quite as accurate. They're great suppression items, at least historically, but they're not wonderful overall. And yep, as now position after position gets shelled, the Soviets don't have much. So kaboom, down to 3 squads. Going to go for that support, the Special Rifle Command? No, they're going for the Tanky Battalion Command, which is the right call. And these combat engineers will try to go and fix us up under fire. And the German tanks just back away just for a few moments here. What's that in his mud flap?
The enemy has cut off a sector.
Is that a moose? It's a moose. Probably Dizzy is the man of the moose. Not to be confused with mouse. But in any case, 351 to 92. We are approaching 38 minutes here, but I'm pretty sure it's about done. I mean, Masturbation's got nothing left. Did not go for enough AT, at least not early enough, to really deal with late-game tanks. And he knew very early on that his opponent had the Elite Troops Doctrine, so he should have been aware, I would say, of the potential for the Tiger Ace, and if nothing else, his P4 kind of opportunity.
Shock troops have arrived.
Now the Ziskin comes out, shock troops coming on in. M is not willing to give up just yet. He is going to fight until the end. The shame about that is I'm pretty sure the end's coming very quickly. Combat engineers being dropped one by one by one. And now Germans are inside these improvised fortifications in these houses, and with the P4 up in support, not much that can be done against them. Triple cap happening here, and that's going to be pretty much it. Is this gun's kind of shalumping on forwards? No. No, the Tiger Ace gets himself 38 kills. So let's speed this up a bit.
Victory is slipping from our grasp.
I would say victory slipped from your grasp a long time ago, my friend.
Enemy forces are capturing.
Just want to get a little bit more action going on here. So, Germans are down to just 2 fuel, of course. That happens whenever you get that whole insane amount of Tiger Ace-ness. But he manages it anyway. To have that P4 coming on into support.
We have been reduced to 25 points.
Soviets will attempt to take back the center position. We'll get a decap at least, but then hell cometh for them. And it wears a Panzer's face. Wow, he even has 13 kills. That's surprising. 39. Will he hit 40 before the end of the game? Probably not. But the Zis guns are nice and close, and it's very good for the Soviets if they had had these Zis guns just a teensy bit
The
sooner.
enemy is about to defeat us. We have only 10 points remaining.
So as this game is ending, I want to give a quick shout out over here to Dizzy, or Dizilon, for sending me this game. It was actually a little bit different to see, first of all, a Soviet player who did not play Lend-Lease, for Christ's sakes. But also to see a Soviet player who was not afraid to go for that 152 howitzer. That's always kind of fun. I wish he had used the commander a little bit more effectively. But nevertheless, thank you so much, guys, for sending this game in. It was a lot of fun to cast. Also kind of fun for me to see let's say, smaller armies on both sides. I mean, the only reason it looks that big over here on the German side is because of these two boys right here. But yes, the guy who definitely turned it around would be Tiger Ace, but could have been, didn't need to be turned around. So a couple quick bits of advice for both players. More AT sooner, big guy. Or be more aware of that T-34 early on. This guy right here did not need to go down as quickly as he did. Now, Dizzy might find, well, one, if you know that there's a machine gun right here, don't just run your guys into it, please. That's a big one for me. And other than that, just keep more aware of your own tanks. I think so. Just basically the lesson for everyone out there right now is keep aware of your armored position. Always have an infantry there ready to screen. Regardless, though, that's going to be enough for me today, guys. The end score by 351-0. Winner by way of knockout in just under 40 minutes is Dizilon. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. So I will see you all soon. This is Conor signing off. Have a great day. Take it easy.